there is such thing as jealousy in relationships. How do you talk to people that perhaps, you started at a place in the relationship, but then one partner is growing more or in a different direction than the other partner, and this other partner is getting jealous perhaps of their success, position at work, fame, money, whatever that may be, that causes, for lack of a better term, the victim to become jealous within the same relationship.
Welcome to the Pure Intentions podcast, where real love, raw emotions, and intentional relationships come together. Welcome to Pure Intentions podcast, where we talk everything relationship from an intentional point of view. I am your host, Chrissy A.
And I'm your co-host, Sir Anthony.
And we are going to talk about jealousy in relationships today. I feel like jealousy is a very good topic to talk about when you're speaking intentional dating, because let's face it, a lot of us have jealous traits and qualities about us when it comes to owning your insecurities and self-doubt and all those good things. So I wanted to dive deep into this insecurity jealousy field.
Okay.
So what does jealousy look like to you?
In general, or we need more context?
Okay, so let me just say this. There's speculation about jealousy versus envy. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that there is a difference and they just walk on the same line, or do you believe that they are the same thing?
I believe they're the same thing. What I believe is a differentiation is jealousy and admiration. So for me, jealousy is all of those negative things that, however it makes you feel a negative thought about whatever. It's a person, thing, whatever you're feeling that, and you act upon that negative thing. So for me, it's all the negative side of admiration. However, is something that makes you conscious or subconscious of a thought, person, or whatever, but you turn that quickly into something positive. So for me, okay, if I like basketball and I want to be a great basketball player, I will have admiration of Michael Jordan, and I want to be just like Mike. So I use that to fuel what perhaps came off negative for a slight second, but I want to be just like that. So I'm going to study him. I'm going to get the gear. I'm going to be on the court. I'm going to take his mannerisms, everything like that. It was my fuel to drive to be like that. Same way if I have somebody in finances that I love what they're doing financially. Oh, I like how they move. I want to, if I can get to them, pick their brain. If not, look at their interviews. If not, look at how they move with if they're in stocks, how do they invest, things like use that as a motivation to do that thing in your life. Whereas jealousy is only looking at the negative part of it and harping up on that. And I don't see anything positive that can come from jealousy or envy. To me, those are the same words. Admiration derives from that, but shifts positive immediately.
So the difference between jealousy and envy, because they are within the same wheelhouse. So when you have jealousy, it's like having a fear of losing something that you own. So you have possession of something, and it's a fear that you're going to lose it. So there's a trigger point where it sparks these emotions of insecurities. So if I see that you are looking at another woman, and I know this woman is very attractive in your type, mm-hmm. Now there's an insecurity within inside me that's saying, oh, why are you looking at that woman? So now it might spark some things up with me because I have this insecurity that leads to jealousy. Mm-hmm. Whereas to envy is the act of wanting something that someone else has. Okay. So then if I'm that woman looking at you and how you treat me. And I'm like, I'm the woman. Who that bitch thinks she is? How she don't deserve no man like that. I'm gonna try to get him. So that's an envious trait, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, and I know quite a few envious women out there, and they need to stop it.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say about that.
That's it. Ain't no story behind it. You ain't gonna get a little juicy in there.
You want me to get juicy?
Yeah.
You set up the good segue. For me, it's important too. So for my guys out there that, especially if you're active on social media. So that's one aspect, because your viewership audience is bigger, or if it's on a personal level where an envious woman sees how you treat your woman, your wife. I've been in that situation where treat her like a queen, and an envious woman sees that and will try to get my attention because they want that for themselves. They feel that, like you just said, who is this? She feels she doesn't look as better than me, than me, and she doesn't have the things that I have going on, and I can give him better. You don't know what's going on inside that relationship and what they've been through, the trials and tribulations. But this is your own selfish, narcissistic trait that you feel that you can get this man and go at him, whether through socials, flirtatious, things like that, to get his attention. And to my fellas, listen, the grass is not always greener on the other side. That's all I can say about that.
So she got your attention.
She got my attention, but didn't do right by it.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. For me personally, because a lot of people look at jealousy and envy as, okay, this is something that's happening in romantic relationships. But the way that I've experienced it was from my friendships. Like, I've had friends that were jealous that I had other friends. And I think for women, that happens a lot. I'm not sure if it happens in the male dominant world, but in our world, I've experienced connecting with a woman, like not sexually, but connecting with another woman, building a friendship with her, and having a friend that I've been friends with for years feel some type of way because of the fear of loss. Like, she was afraid that she was going to lose our friendship. So she immediately didn't know this woman, but had a lot of bad things to say about her. And now it's just like, I have to figure out how to put a bad taste in your mouth about this person because I'm scared that I'm going to lose you. And I can't do that. Envy, to me, and jealousy, it's a scary thing, depending on, because I feel like there's a sense of jealousy that happens in every relationship. It might be like some slight jealous traits that happen, and it's up to you as the person that's experiencing that feeling to define it and to quiet it, because it doesn't need to have a voice. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you, when I wake up in the morning, I have two thoughts. It's either you gonna get up or you gonna lay your ass down and not do nothing productive. We always have a good side and a bad side to us. And it's like the one that you give light to is the one that matters. So for me, I have moments with you because I feel like you're the first person or man in my life romantically that I am afraid to lose. And because of that fear, it's like sometimes there's this devil that sits here, and it's like it'll just be moments of my insecurities peeking up, like, oh, I don't know if I want to get too deep into our personal life and the things that we like and enjoy.
Probably at this point in the video, like, say it.
So I'm a woman that likes women. And I like looking at women. I love beautiful women. And sometimes, like, you know, I enjoy like looking at women with you. But my insecurities that lie with like the fact that I've had 3 kids and my body isn't the way that, you know, I would want it to be. And sometimes I see these women and it's just like, you know, I don't look like that, you know, and there's that thing right here that says if you interact with that with him, you'll lose him because you don't look like that. And then I'm just like, shut up, you know? And then because I do have my insecurities and I feel like everybody has insecurities, but I don't give light to that situation, so to speak. Because in reality, there is this part of me that feels like if I could lose you, you were never mine to begin with. And that speaks to a more secure version of myself that is okay with being alone, you know, because I don't feel alone in my loneliness, if that makes sense. But yeah, I have the jealous traits too, and I have them with my friends as well. It comes out, like I feel like it happens. Like everybody has that sense to have those feelings, but when you give light to those feelings, that's when it becomes an issue, if that makes sense.
It does.
I think that identifying where that those feelings come from is important, because I think every emotion that we have stems from something in our childhood leading up to our adult life. And I know that I have a fear of abandonment. And that is why at a certain point in time in my life, I felt like I needed someone. I always needed someone to be mine. And I led with the thought of having companionship, getting married, because I felt like if I was married, that you couldn't abandon me and you couldn't leave me. And you know, growing up, I didn't have my mom or my dad as a child. Like I had my grandmother, but you always feel like there's this piece missing within your life, even though you have these people in your world. Like my aunties were there, my grandmother was there. They made sure we had Christmases, Thanksgivings. It celebrated every holiday, Halloween, you know, whatever I wanted to be for Halloween, I could be it, which is probably why it's my favorite holiday. But it's always that feeling of missing something, of emptiness when you don't have your parents. And I didn't have my mom or my dad. My dad came around, but when he came around, it wasn't like acknowledging me. It was him asking for money, you know. So I didn't experience a father figure. I didn't experience my actual birth mother being there as a child. So I felt like that was my early stage of having abandonment issues. I felt abandoned as a child. And then when I reached 12 years old and I got my period, my grandmother said something to me that hurt me and cut me so deep that I felt like now she's abandoning me. And that's when I went on my venture of looking for love from somebody, because I didn't feel it at home. And yeah, I think that was the start of having my jealousy traits, like where it switched on for me, because now I'm afraid that if I have you, I might lose you. and I might lose you to somebody else or something else because I lost my mom and dad to drugs. I lost my grandma because I became a woman and she was afraid that I was gonna be just out here any type of way. And I lost my sister when I was 13 because she died. So I feel like everything that I love is leaving me. Even as a kid, I lost my cat because my siblings wanted to put it under the mattress and have all us jumping on the mattress. And I didn't know that the cat was under there, and now the cat is dead. So anytime I love something, I lose it. And I think that when it came to you, and I'm seeing these women that can wear their stomach out and they can show certain areas of their body and feel secure in it, where I'm not secure, I have those thoughts like, what if I lose him too? So jealousy is a thing.
It is a thing. But the good thing about it is that you identified it within yourself and know how to actively work on it. It's a lot of people who don't think that they're jealous or have any jealous traits, and they go completely blinded by checking that, recognizing it, and checking it. And so for some people, it shapes the person in who they are. Like, I'll give you a couple examples. One woman I dated, and it was a conversation she was having with one of her children, and I just happened to be nearby. This wasn't supposed to be a comment that I was supposed to hear. And the comment came from the child because their grandmother was speaking to them. And they said, you know how they are, they jealous. And that was a trait for that family, the woman I dated in that particular family. And when the child repeated what this grandmother said to the mother, they immediately dismissed it. Jealous who? Jealous of who? And then got to signifying about the grandmother. But they completely missed the point that your type and what you put to your descendants is a jealousy trait, and you don't even know it. Mm-hmm. And the second that somebody brings it up, you have a quick rebuttal for it. Another instance, I don't know if you're going to ask me this question or not, but this was about who once was what I consider the best friend to me, and I didn't recognize the traits. And from that, I learned how to recognize it in the future. This friend once told me, as we got acclimated and becoming friends, his statement was, I would see you on the book, and I'm lightweight jealous and blah blah blah. And the light bulbs didn't kick in then until later on. I was betrayed by this friend, and from there it made me aware of another situation where a person told me, as they were giving me, this is a completely different person. I like how you move, I like how you treat your daughter, and how you this and that. I'm envious of you. And I stopped him and said, do you
scary.
Admire me? He said, no, I'm envious of you. And in my head, I'm thinking, red flag, red flag, red flag. Because for one, perhaps you didn't know the definition of it. Because I did explain what I felt, like how I explained to you, the difference between jealousy, envy, between admiration. He said, no, I'm envious of you. Red flag, and that let me know how to navigate with this person moving forward.
Yeah, that's scary because...
One other thing, hold that thought. And there's a thing that some women say if you want to catch a red flag on when people say it. If you have someone that's in your circle that says, let's say you went on a trip to Spain. Oh, I saw you all go to Barcelona. That must be nice. That's a trigger word. Watch out for that person because they are jealous of you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but baby, go ahead.
When you talk about envious and someone wanting basically your life, feeling that what you have, they should have it, and it sparks something inside of them, it always put me back to, because I feel like I kind of had that within a past friendship, that I had to break up. I had to break up with one of my friends. And it was hard, but it was necessary because there were so many red flags in that situation, that I didn't overlook. I just kept giving it chance after chance, because me studying people's minds and doing psychology, she also did the same thing. So I felt like, she just needs some healing. She just needs some guidance. She just needs, trying to give her that. It brings me back to the movie Selena, based off a true story. Those who know, those who don't, oh well. But the movie Selena, the way she died was by a friend. It was someone she took in and someone she hired and said, hey, we gonna make this money together. Took her everywhere with her. So she knew everything about this lady, and then killed her, like just shot her. And it's just like, that's real. I even looked up like deaths by jealousy, outrage. Crimes of passion typically happen because of jealousy traits. Something that you might see that I'm not seeing. Like, I'm going out, we together, we in a marriage, we in a relationship, whatever. I'm going out with my girls. I come back home and you like, oh, what nigga you been with? Mm-hmm. Oh, you smell like some cologne. What you been doing? Oh, you getting in the shower. What you been doing? And now you outraged. And now I have to deal with that. And there's nothing that I can say or do to make you feel secure in that moment, because you've already made in your mind of what I've done. Mm-hmm. And I learned that male are typically more to be violent in jealous situations than females are. And it's not to say that females aren't violent and don't prohibit those same responses and remarks when it comes to their jealousy, outrage. But I found so many teenagers dying by the hands of their boyfriends and their partners because of jealousy. And it's never, what I would say, it's more than likely not even about you as a person. It's always something within your partner that they have not resolved, or probably would never resolve within themselves. So if you see certain signs of unwarranted jealousy, things that they're basically making up in their mind and taking out on you, I would say run. Like, get out of that situation the best way you can, because it doesn't get better. And no, you cannot help them. And no, you can't aid them in this, and they'll get better. Because what happens is you'll typically start to change who you are, how you move, to make them feel more secure. And then you find yourself overcompensating for that. And there's literally nothing you can do at all.
Till you lose yourself.
I've experienced that.
I've experienced it too.
In one of my relationships, when I was pregnant with my first daughter. I had my first daughter. I was in a relationship, and I lived with him. I had to move in with him because my grandma kicked me out because I was pregnant. 17 years old, homeless. So I ended up moving in with him, and he was so welcoming and loving at first, but then he became abusive, and then he became verbally abusive. And it was like, when he would go to work, he worked 3 jobs. When he would go to work, he would come home, and I've been like waiting for him all day, and he'll make remarks to me like, what you been doing all day? And it went from me not being able to hang out with my friends, because I did have one female friend that lived not that far from him that I would go hang out with and chill with, and then I come back home. That was a problem for him. So instead of moving out of that space, I had nowhere to go. Like, I depended on that space. And I had my daughter. So I just lost my friendship with one of my friends. And then it went to, oh, the niggas around the block said that you fucking them. And I'm like, what? Like, now I'm confused because I'm literally in a house now. Now you didn't want me to be around my friend because you were scared I was going outside doing something. So I stayed in the house. Now I'm staying in the house. That's a problem too. Oh, you've already made in your mind that you're going to have some problem with anything. Like, you're going to create. He created these dynamics in his mind that this is what was going on because he had his own insecurities. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to fix them for him. And I didn't know how. I was 17 years old. I don't know how to fix your insecurities. I don't even know why you got them. I don't even understand them.
That part.
The only thing that I'm saying is, no, baby, I wouldn't do that. Like, I'm not doing that to you. And he's just like, yes, you is. And it got to the point where it got so violent that he choked me one day. And he choked me so hard that I saw white. And I felt like I just let go. Like, at first I was fighting. I just let go. And I gave up because I'm like, this is it. And I had the thought in my mind, like, I'm finna die. I'm 17, my baby. I just had a baby and I'm about to die. And I just started praying, like, God, just please take care of my baby. Let my family come get my baby. I don't want her with him. And he let me go right before I felt like I was like slipping away. He let me go. And he just started going crazy. And he grabbed the gun and he was like, I'm about to kill myself. Just take her. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that to you. But that's his his narcissism coming out. Because now it's like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. Oh, just take the baby. Take my car. Just go, get away from me. I'm no good for you. I'm no good for you. So I took my baby and I took his car. And I got the fuck up out of there.
Good job.
And then I called his mom and I told her. And then I learned why he's the way he is in that moment. Because when I called her, the first thing she said is, what did you do to my son? So now she's blaming me. And I'm calling you to let you know that your son is talking about committing suicide. And I'm getting up out of here. And the first thing you say to me is, what did you do to my son?
Like you said, it came from childhood, the trauma there. So let me ask you this. If you're a person that, if you've heard this video, this podcast with an open heart and an open ear, and may have heard of some of these traits and consider that, okay, I've heard this from this person, now I'm hearing it on a podcast. Maybe I do have some jealous traits and I want to work on that. Because you said somebody else can't work on it for you. So it's leading to that you have to work on it yourself. How do I, as a person who exhibits jealous traits, how do I work on that?
First, try to identify where the insecurity lies. And then work on building your confidence up. Try to avoid situations that would lead to that jealousy being activated, such as going through your boyfriend or your girlfriend's social media, Facebook, and let me see your phone, and those traits. Like, if you know that something may trigger you, try to avoid that. Try very hard to avoid that. And even though a lot of people say, I can't change overnight, you can start practicing today. So nothing happens without repetition. The jealousy trait that you have was adopted to your life. You practice that. We practice all of our characteristics that we have so much that they become a part of us. So if you can practice that characteristic to become that jealous person, you can undo it. Your mind is very powerful. Believe it and trust it. If that's what you want to do and you really want change, you are very capable of that change.
What do you say to the people that have gotten to a jealous state because of their partner may have made them feel jealous? Perhaps the partner cheated on them. And so now they're checking phones. Now they're checking social media. Now they're looking when they go out in the restaurant, they're the one noticing the woman that maybe his type before he even sees them, and now their demeanor changes because of they may have given them that insecurity. What do you say to people like that?
Well, I would first say that nobody can make you feel a way that you don't want to feel. So that's first and foremost. Like, no one can make you feel something. The feelings that you prohibit comes from you. Because in reality, let's just say you have done the work and you do have a healthy mindset. If your partner is doing something that seems a little bit suspicious, I would, not even if you have a healthy mindset, just to give advice. If your partner is doing something that you think is suspicious, be direct. Have that, don't be confrontational. It's two different things. Being direct means that you express yourself to that person, not with accusations. Do not accuse them of anything, and don't go in with anger, because that will furthermore hurt the entire situation.
Make them defensive.
Yes. So go with an open mind. Have those conversations with your partner about the things that you are experiencing and that you're feeling. And don't ever think that I hate when I dislike people feeling as though you made me this way. Yes, they may prohibit behaviors that alter your thought process, but they can't make you feel any way that you don't want to feel. And if someone gets you to a point, let's just say your guy did cheat on you, and that's where the jealousy is coming from. Maybe it's harder than you thought it was to forgive him for that. And maybe you need to take a step back and try to figure out you before you get back into that situation. So I think that will avoid a lot of stressful moments for both you and your partner, and it just makes more sense for peace. Like, if you literally want peace, because people think that they want it until they're itching for that drama to happen, because their body and their mind is so used to drama. It's literally a training process that you have to do with your mind. I can't stress enough about how you are in control of your actions, you're in control of your thought process, you're in control of your words, you're in control of your feelings. And if you feel at any moment that you're losing control of that, maybe you need to reevaluate your current situation, your current partnership, and it might not be the best for you or that other person. So,
to piggyback what you were saying, because there's a statement that, like, when people purposely try to make you mad or be angry, you're giving them that too much control. Mm-hmm. And so if you give them the control of, they cheated on you, it caused an insecurity, but now you're giving them even more control by allowing jealousy and jealousy to set in, and reacting and moving in accordance from that point forward. Mm-hmm. Instead of healing from it, you say, don't allow them to control, take time to properly forgive and heal, mm-hmm. and then move forward in that relationship if it's going to be.
Yeah, because you might, in that healing stage, you might feel like I can't do this shit no more. And that's okay. Like, I think the fear of being alone is a big issue that we have in relationships. Like, the reason why we stick in them so long, knowing that they're not good for us. And it's okay to be alone. And if you are afraid to be alone, I would say that you should probably learn how to be alone first before you get into a relationship. Because like I said, I'm not perfect. I do have those moments where that thing says, we jealous. And I be like, shut the fuck up. No, we not. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, even though I have these little moments, I know that if something was to happen, I will be okay. I'm going to be okay. Because we done spent time with ourselves. We know what we're capable of doing. And we know the love that we have. So by we, I mean me, myself, and I. Like, I'm understanding of that. So the last thing I would want to do is to lose our partnership because I love you so much. But if you feel like you need to go, and that's what's best for you, I will accept that. Yeah, it hurt, but I'll be okay.
I love you too, baby.
I would say to first identify your partner needs and wants, because sometimes what happens is, like, I think that having jealousy in a partnership where a guy cheated on you or a girl cheated on you is absolutely normal. Like, that's a normal process. And sometimes the other partner has to understand that this is what this person is going to go through, and y'all should work through that together. So if you cheat on somebody, don't expect them to just be the same person they was before you cheated on them. You done created a monster. You know what I'm saying? And I think there is a level of healthy jealousy within that field. And if you do decide to work it out with this person, the person that is the victim in that situation, I hate using that word, but you know, it is what it is. The person that is the victim in that situation, if you decide to take that person back, actively work on fixing those moments that you have. And if you are the cheater in that situation, know that it's going to come with some consequences, and that person might not be that receptive to you as they were previous before. And it's a lot of reassuring that you have to do to your partner, and it might feel like you pulling out hairs, but that's the decision that you made. And if neither one of you can get past that, then you should make the decision to move along and not blame this person and say, well, you took me back, so you need to forgive me, and rush that situation, because it is hard. I think that's probably one of the hardest things to come back from, you know, but it's possible. It just takes a lot of work.
So there is such thing as jealousy in relationships. So how do you talk to people that perhaps, you know, you started at a place in the relationship, but then one partner is growing more or in a different direction than the other partner, and this other partner is getting jealous, perhaps of their success, position at work, fame, money, whatever that may be, that causes, for lack of a better term, the victim to become jealous within the same relationship?
Going into relationships, you expect for your partner to grow. If they're not growing in any direction at all, and they're...
A lot of people don't expect growth in a relationship, and I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm saying this for them to expect growth.
Okay.
Now, if you want complacency, there are people out there that don't want to grow at all. Match with them. It's completely fine if that's what you two agree to. But everybody grows. It doesn't matter if you're growing up or you're growing down. Everybody's going to grow in some type of direction. Everybody changes. So if you have a partner that is growing in a different direction than you, and the growth is excelling for the both of you, me personally, that's a win. Like, I think that that's a win. And that only sets you up to grow with them. And if you grow apart, that's okay too. Like, I think people put too much emphasis on, we spent this much time together, we've been together for this amount of time, so we can't leave each other. I feel like that if you exhausted all options to make it work, then the only thing to do is to let it go. But I would definitely give the advice to exhaust all options, because I'm all for togetherness and making it work, especially when you've been in a long-term relationship. But if you find yourself being jealous of your partner's growth, and jealous to the point where now there's conflict being caused in that relationship, then you again need to reevaluate what it is within you. Maybe that person that is jealous feels as though that they can't grow that same way that you are, or even close to what you are. So now their insecurities of not wanting to do more is coming to the forefront, rather than, oh, I'm jealous because you are doing more. It's like, I'm jealous because you're doing more and I don't want to. I don't want to work as hard as you. So because I don't want to work as hard as you, I'm going to make it hard for you to get along with me. There goes the insecurities again.
Mm-hmm. I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
And this is no knock to the people with the 9-to-5s, but I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been in a relationship where I made a statement that they told me was narcissistic, and conceded that as a successful entrepreneur, and then they had a 9-to-5 job, but they had a side hustle that was becoming successful, and I was feeling that like they were an anchor. And so I made the statement that, I want to keep moving forward. This is how I see my life going, and I don't want to have to reach back for you. And they got completely offended by that statement. Was I narcissistic and conceited by saying a statement like that?
I don't think that you were being narcissistic or conceited. I feel like that the person who you were speaking to perceived it as such because of maybe there was something within them that made them feel like that they couldn't do it. And the way that they took it from you was, I'm better than you. Because you want to belittle yourself to this is me saying how they probably took it in their mind. Because you want to stoop so low to work for someone else and do a 9-to-5 when you can have this successful business and become rich off of it, you're stupid. You're not thinking straight. That's the dumbest shit that you can ever do. Like, that's probably how they read it in their mind, and that's how they perceived it. So now it's not you trying to push them to do something that you think is better for them. It's more so of, you want me to be you and I can't be you. And if I'm not you, I'm stupid for making the decisions that I want for my life.
I didn't think of it that way, but continue.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with identifying those things and saying, hey, I want a woman that's more entrepreneurship ready. Someone who wants to jump out there and do the things that she needs to do to own her own business, because that woman I can travel with. That woman from on a drop of a dime, I can say, baby, let's go here or let's move there. And she'll be able to do it because you can take entrepreneurship wherever. It's nothing wrong with that. And it's also nothing wrong with her saying, well, I'm afraid to jump out that window. I don't think I'm capable of jumping out that window. I need security. And for me, security is a 9 to 5. But then identifying that you two aren't equally yoked and it's just not going to work, that's where the problem comes in at. Because then you're trying to pressure her to be something that she figured out, I can't do this shit. And she's trying to make you understand that this is the route that I would rather go down without expressing that. Because if she says, I can't do it to you, she might feel inadequate in some type of way. And there goes the insecurities again. And there goes that trait. Now she has to project, oh no, you're narcissistic. No, you're controlling. No, you're this. Because that's the only way to take the heat off of her not being able to do what she said she wanted to do with you in the first place. If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So with that being said, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to share?
You know I'm always going to close with plug in the Pure Intentions Icebreakers Cards. Because as much as, it's a good monetization tool for us, we built that because we built our relationship off of that. And it reveals questions that are deeper than your typical things that you would ask on a date, especially if you're a novice at dating or just don't know how to date properly or curious about this dating with intentions. How do you do this? How do I filter to the person, my person? How do I get to that? You have to get through people. And these questions help you filter through people and get to know people on a deeper level. So I would hope that you all will visit the store, pureintentions314.com.
Period.
Pick up the cards. And we have some blocks that's like Jenga. You
That's
play.
Like what?
That's a tumble block game. Pull a block, read a question, and have, good time, fun time with your mate, and also get to know them at a deeper level. So visit the store, get them, good stuff. And that's all I had to say about that.
Period. Well, I think I want to close this particular podcast out with always, if you want to be intentional in your life and you want pure intentions, because you can be intentional about anything, but if you want to date with a purpose, you want to live with a purpose, identify who you are. I will always advocate for this. Identify who you are as an individual before you bring somebody else in that situation. And sometimes identifying yourself could be hard because it can bring up a lot of past experiences that are hurtful and that you do still need to work out. And relationships do that as well. But prepare yourself for that said relationship. Prepare yourself for the trials that are going to come, because once you get past the sour part, it gets a little sweet and it's all worth it. So that was Pure Intentions Podcast, the jealousy edition. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to say or want us to talk about, please comment, tag us, or even inbox us. We'll be checking out for it. And we want to be here for you. We want to know how we can help you guys date intentionally. So see you next week.